Alright, so what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NASCAR Nick YouTube channel. Let's talk Daytona. Alright, so wow, I mean, Daytona was kind of a crazy race. It was a wreck fest, essentially. I want to get right into it. I don't want to, mess around or anything. Daytona was a wreck fest. Again, I just the stages and how the stage racing works, it just makes, puts so much pressure on people to get these points in the middle of the race, and it makes people do crazy things like Ricky Stenhouse throwing a giant, or I think it was maybe Blaney throwing a giant block on Ricky Stenhouse. Stenhouse moves up the track, takes out 5 or 10 cars, my favorite driver included, and then towards the middle of the second stage, Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott racing way too aggressively. We're not even at lap, or maybe just over lap 100 of the Daytona 500. So we're halfway through the race, and we're making moves like it's the last lap. That's just, insane. I mean, it's ludicrous. It doesn't make any sense why you'd be doing that. And that definitely doesn't make as much sense because that was still 18 laps until the end of the stage. So I don't know what they were really doing there. But just really, really aggressive driving, and that's fun to watch, like aggressive driving and stuff. But like the wrecks just ruin the race. I mean, the race that wasn't really. I mean, we had some good side-by-side racing, which I was surprised. Okay, I thought we were only gonna have a couple laps of 2 wide, maybe 3 wide, and it was just gonna go to back to single file, and I'm glad it didn't. I'm really glad it didn't because that sucks. No one likes seeing a train of cars go around the top side. I can agree with that, okay? That makes sense. However, there's got to be a balance between completely just wrecking the entire field every 30 laps and, doing a single file line. There was just so much aggression, so many crazy moves that had, there was no reason to make those moves at that time during the race. Stage 1 wreck, for example. I mean, it's a couple points, yeah, like, understandable, but really? Like, this is the Daytona 500. Like, the point is to win the race, not to win a stage. So, I mean, I don't want to make this a rant about stage racing or anything like that, but stage racing, it doesn't belong in NASCAR. It's dumb. NASCAR is not about heat races. NASCAR is the premier oval racing. There shouldn't be stages. Heat racing is for getting up to the highest level. NASCAR and Cup Series, specifically, is the highest level of oval racing anywhere in the world. Okay, we don't need stage racing. Okay, green flag, go, and checker flag, you win the race, and whatever happens in the middle, you gotta, make strategy. I mean, just stage racing is it creates exciting like moments. In a nutshell, they're exciting, but then when you look at the bigger picture, they're just manufactured. They're dumb. They don't have a place. Okay, like, so you can't have stage racing in the premier series of oval racing, which is the Cup Series in NASCAR, and the bottom series too, I believe. So I think it's just frustrating, man. It really is. It's just frustrating. NASCAR has changed so much since I started watching in 07 and 08. And when I started watching, everyone that I talked to was like, oh, it's changed so much since like 98, 99, which I guess to them it kind of did, with the chase and everything. But since then, I mean, this is just, the BS meter is just blown out of proportion in the last like couple of years, okay? Really since 2014 with the elimination style format. I mean, it made the championship almost just a farce. Like, you can win one race and win the championship. Like, wow, good job, I mean, yes, you have to get there and stuff, but you know what I mean, okay? So anyway, I don't want to make this like a super long video. I'm trying to focus on the 500, but like, it just kind of, there's so many tiers of different things that this goes into that like I could go on about for a while. So maybe I should save some of that for another video, but But Daytona was like I said, a complete wreck fest. I think it was a combination of like the aero package and like how the cars would get really loose when a car was right beside them. Which, I mean, hey, that's part of the race. Like, you got to control your car, right? But then if you know that, why are you doing 3 wide? And why are you throwing these really, aggressive blocks, for lack of a better term, at the 60 lap mark of a 200 lap race? I mean, bro, like, we're not even halfway through the race, and you're already wrecked in the wall. Is that really what you spent the last 2 months preparing for, 3 months preparing for, waxing your car down, getting it all, nice and shiny and stuff for Daytona? Like, really? So, oh man, just so disappointing. Like I said, there were pockets of good racing in there, and the aggressive stuff was fun to watch, but it was just way too aggressive at that point during the race. Like, if that was the last 20 laps of the race, 30 laps of the race, amazing. Makes so much sense. We would have probably had a great finish. Yeah, that would have been awesome, but we didn't get that. So, just like last year, and I thought last year was an okay race. It was definitely better than this year, I feel like, personally, at least. And, I mean, how do we not talk about the last lap pass? It wasn't a pass. A last lap pass for the win is like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. I mean, it's like Kurt Busch last year, I guess, in Daytona, right? Like, that's a pass. This was a last lap, like, dump for the win. Like, this was a last lap, like, hook you into the wall for a win. It wasn't a pass, and this is just not what NASCAR is supposed to be, okay? Like, I get the people out there like, oh, Dale Earnhardt he wrecked these many people and this and that happened. I'm like, okay, fine. Like, Dale Earnhardt wrecked a lot of people. Yes, he did. He ran into a lot of people. He rattled their cages, so to speak, right? But Dale Earnhardt would never, and I watched a couple reviews last night, and they were talking about this too, and I think they mostly agree with me. He would have never wrecked somebody like that at Daytona, at a restrictor plate track, okay? That would have never happened. I know, like, look, I didn't grow up with Earnhardt. I grew up with, like, Johnson and Gordon dominating the sport, okay? And, like, Tony Stewart, I guess, right? But, like, understandably, yes, Earnhardt was an aggressive driver. He was called the Intimidator for a reason. But there's a difference between intimidating somebody and then just flat out wrecking them in the wall. Like, Intimidator is to make someone fear you. Like, you look behind your mirror and you're like, oh, shit, like, I gotta be on my game right now, otherwise that guy's gonna, like, punt me in the wall, or, like, he's gonna, try to make a quick move or something. Like, that's intimidating, because you don't know what he's gonna do, but, like, he has a reputation of doing crazy moves. Fair enough, okay? This was not an intimidator move. What Austin Dillon did to the 10 was I'm sorry, it's a blatant wreck. Actually, I'm not sorry. It was a blatant wreck, okay? That's what it was. He had a huge run. So he has a huge run. Eric blocks him. He gets on his bumper, and it's hard to see because the Fox coverage was honestly terrible. It was so bad. It was pathetic. I'm sorry, it was pathetic. And the camera angles were just horrid, really. But you can kind of see Almirola blocks, and Austin Dillon bumps him like once or twice. I'm pretty sure he could have had a chance to go low and take that run with him and side draft Almirola, and it would have been almost a drag race to the finish, and it would have been great. Or he could have even possibly gone high and gotten the win that way, because I think Bubba Wallace probably would have stuck with him, being, the Chevy relationship there. But of course, none of that happened. He just hooked him into the wall and went on to, I guess, win the 500, and now he's a 500 champion. Apparently. Just like Kyle Busch is the 2015 champion. Yeah, it was sad. Oh, man. It's hard to have words after what happened yesterday, what transpired at Daytona. Really, like, to be honest with you. And look, I love NASCAR. Like, I'm a huge fan of NASCAR. I'm a huge fan of rubbing his racing, okay? Like, the truck race, I think it was this year or last year at, like, that one road course they go to. Like, they were bumping and banging. They were in the grass. People complain about that. I have no problem with that. That was awesome. The guys finished first and second. No one dumped anybody. They just raced each other to the line really hard, and it was awesome. Kind of like what Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace did for second place. I mean, that was great racing. Bubba Wallace just edged him out. Then Denny, being the idiot that he is, ran him into the wall because Denny Hamlin's an idiot. But yeah, I think Bubba Wallace, like, that's how you race for the win. That's how you race aggressively. That's rubbing is racing right there. Like, that's bumping into each other, trying to find a little bit of extra speed. That's what that is. What Austin Dillon did to Eric Almirola was not rubbing his racing. That was just, I'm coming with a run, I'm faster than you, I'm just going to drive right through you, and I'm going to throw you into the wall or into the inside, whichever. I mean, it ended up being into the wall, obviously, but he was just going to move him out of the way, basically, to get the win at Daytona. And yes, it's the 500. Yes, it's the 3-car, 20 years after Dale Earnhardt won, 17 years after his death, all special stuff there. And I'm not trying to dilute that. I think the 3-car, I want to be so happy for the 3 to be back in victory lane. I really do. I really want to be like, wow, like, what an awesome moment. What a great, what a great moment for RCR, Richard Childress, Austin Dillon, and the 3 team, I guess, and like just all the history there. Obviously, it would have been. It's a Cinderella. I mean, well, it's not a Cinderella story, but it's like a kind of like a fairy tale. Like it's amazing. Like, it's incredible. And like people were saying, Kevin Harvick won. The other time it was on the 18th, the Daytona 500, and I was actually there for that one, which was kind of cool. I wanted Mark to win. Anyway, not part of the video today, but yeah, just, oh my God. I wanted to really love the race. I wanted to be like, wow, that was a good race. But it just wasn't, and it's because it was a wreck fest. I mean, yeah, like I said, we had spurts of good racing in there. But with the stages, I mean, come on, man. Like, you're racing way too aggressively. I think I said this in a previous video, but I'm gonna say it again. Stages, like, they don't work at the Premier Series, 1, which I've already said in this video already. But 2, don't throw a caution for every stage. Like, that just messes up the entire complexion of the race. It resets everything, and people know a caution's coming at this point. Like, it just ruins everything that NASCAR really is supposed to be. So, oh my God. I mean, there's so many things wrong with yesterday, and a lot of things wrong with just where NASCAR is going in general right now. And I think it's David Land on YouTube, and I just wanted to give him a shout out really quick. He did an amazing review. I watched another review, I think it was like the championship one. He does really good videos, and I always really, really enjoy his reviews and all that stuff. So I would really highly recommend you go check that video out, because I think he broke it down really well, what happened yesterday, and kind of how I'm feeling about it. I think we're on the same page. I think he's just better at articulating his thoughts than I am, to be real with you. But no, he got it right when I think he said something like, NASCAR is going for the very casual fan of like, oh yeah, that was a big wreck, like, oh wow, they're really racing hard, like, oh my God, they're not going for the actual racing fan, someone who wants to see hard, clean-ish, rubbing is racing, right? So not totally clean, but clean-ish, really hard racing for a win. And we didn't get that yesterday. We were robbed of that yesterday. I believe, true racing fans were robbed of what should have been a great race yesterday. Not just with the Austin Dillon thing, but just with all the crashes and the stages and everything, and how everything just happened yesterday. I think we were robbed of a potentially really good race. I know personally, coming into the season, I was super excited. And, I don't know. I mean, the season just seemed really new. Like, the Camaros are new, and a lot of people in new places. A lot of people new at Hendrick, and Gibbs got new people. Darrell Wallace is a big name right now, and obviously he did great. I'm super impressed with him, I got to say really quick. Awesome job, class act guy, and definitely one of my favorite drivers. Obviously, no one will ever replace Jimmy Johnson for me, but he's definitely up there right now. But and there's so many stories that could have been amazing, and I think we will have some stories unfold throughout this season. Of course, it's only been one race, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. But yesterday, it was just bad. It was bad, and it's not that like I don't want to say the whole race was bad because it wasn't. There were definitely, like I said, good parts, but the wrecking, it's got to stop. Like, it was just taken to the 9th degree yesterday, and it's because of the stages, man. I'm telling you, it's because of the stages, if I can speak correctly, that cause people to race so aggressively a third of the way into a race or half the way through the race. I mean, you go back to like 2002, 2003. I was watching some old Talladega races. You would never see that. They would never race like that with on lap 50, 60, 80, whatever. Like, you know, yeah, they were too wide and stuff, but no one's making that aggressive of blocks or moves or doing anything crazy like that. So, oh my God, I mean, ugh. The stage racing, it ruins plate racing, I think. Yeah. That's kind of a bold thing to say. I think it does, though. Yesterday, it was just... I'm sorry, I just have no words. Like, it was just bad. Like, it was just bad. It wasn't racing. It was just wrecking people and getting blocked. And, you know, I saw a comment on Facebook. It's like, oh, this is how you win the 500. You just wreck the leader. I mean, yeah, like, everyone... You know, if you wrecked the leader every year, you could have had a different winner every year. But people usually race with respect. The silver spoon, Austin Dillon, apparently doesn't. Which is unfortunate because, you know, he's just diminishing what a 3 is about. You know, like I said in the beginning of this video, or towards the beginning at least, Dale Earnhardt would have never done that. Yeah, Bristol, like, I mean, different circumstances, okay? Like, that's BS too. His thing at Bristol was BS too, obviously. And any time you spun somebody out to get the win, they're like, that's just BS. Like, okay, well, I guess you don't have enough skill to actually get around the person. So, wow, congratulations, you can wreck somebody. Cool. You know, I've got a Dale Earnhardt hat. Okay, so don't say I hate Dale Earnhardt because I definitely don't. I'm just trying to be real with you guys. And what we saw yesterday just flat out wasn't really racing. It was just it was a wreck fest. It was a bunch of guys being way too aggressive, way too early, just like Jimmy Johnson said, and I 100% agree. And personally, I believe it's because of the stage racing. And, you know, Atlanta's obviously going to be much more tame. It's a traditional track. But, like, these restrictor plate tracks, something's got to be done. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's way too much. So, I don't know. I mean, that's really all I have to say for this Daytona 500 review. If I had to give it a score, God, the outcome, I mean, I'm looking on NASCAR.com right now. I'm just like, the outcome, just like, I want to give it like a B. I mean, it's a Daytona 500. I want to give it like an A, obviously. But it's not. It wasn't an A. It was, I'll give it a C. I'm going to give it a C, maybe a C+. You know what? No, I'm straight up C because the ending sucked. The finish was terrible. And Austin Dillon is an idiot, okay? So the race gets a C. Austin Dillon drove straight through Almirola. I don't care how you want to see it. Rubbing is racing, not wrecking is racing. Let's get that clear, okay? That was just blatant wrecking and driving through him. Yes, it's the 500, but, bro, this is the premier level. We're not on this isn't like the fairgrounds anymore. You can't just wreck a $300,000 car. He's racing out there with no respect. Like, that's the problem. Like, these dudes have these younger guys, I mean, I feel like most of them do, but, you know, a lot of them are just excited, which is fine. But, like, Austin Dillon, especially, he's out there racing with no respect, okay? I don't know if Ty Dillon, I don't really know a lot about him, but Austin Dillon just races with no respect, man. Straight up, you know? And if anyone wants to argue that, then feel free. Like, I'll comment with you, okay? But, yeah, just diminishing the 3 and what it stands for. And, honestly, I'd be embarrassed to wear my 3 hat out right now. I really would. Really, I would be, because that last night was just not racing. It wasn't. Takes no skill to wreck somebody for the win. You know, I mean, he's going to go back to running 20th next week. It's like, all right, you know, Trevor Bayne, like, that was cool. I mean, it was in the 21, like, you know, the Wood brothers, and he was a rookie, and he was like 20 years old, and I mean that really was a Cinderella story. That was an awesome outcome for them. And yeah, Trevor Bayne hasn't done anything since, really, if we're honest. But you know, he is a Daytona 500 champion. I mean, that race in 2011, that was incredible. Like, unbelievable what happened. And he didn't wreck anybody. Carl Edwards could have wrecked him coming to the line. Did he? Nope. No, he didn't. You know, I'm trying to think. Like, '07, Mark Martin could have wrecked Kevin Harvick coming to the line and won. Did he? Nope. You know, no one wrecked Jimmy Johnson in '06 coming to the line. You know, no one, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Stewart didn't wreck him in 2004. It's just not how you race, man. Like, it's just not. So I think this video is getting kind of long. I don't want it to go much longer. That's kind of just my 2 cents on what happened. To sum it up, we had spurts of good racing. Overall, it was just a wreck fest. It was a bad race. And I'm impressed with Bubba Wallace. That's something that good came out of that. Eric Almirola is also a class act. That's great. And the silver spoon gets handed another one. What can we say? So, anyway, guys, that's it. I don't even want to think about this anymore. I'm trying to just move on to Atlanta and, like, just do other things with my life right now than think about this race, really, because it's just really aggravating and frustrating whenever I do have to think about it. So, that's it. I just want to make this video and be done with this and move on. So, if you guys like the video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. And if you love this video, then consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one.